You're in the bedroom with a beautiful woman. The chemistry is electric. The anticipation is building and everything seems perfect. Clothes come off. Hands begin to explore. Breaths quicken. She looks at you ready for you. And that's when it happens. Or rather, that's when it doesn't happen. Your body refuses torseband. You want it too. You need it too. But no matter how much your mind ice in it, your body stays quiet, unbothered, asleep. In that moment, a wave of panic rushes in. Your stomach tightens. Your thoughts race. What is thinking? Am I broken? Did I just kill the vibe forever? The shame feels suffocating. The silence gets louder with every passing second. And here's the truth. Most men at some point in their lives have faced this. But very few ever talk about it because it doesn't just feel like a physical failure. It feels like a failure of manhood. Like your worth has been cut down in a single humiliating moment. But that's a lie. You are not your performance. You are not defined by one difficult night, one unexpected betrayal by your body. What truly defines you is how you respond. That's where most men fall apart. Not in the moment itself but in the panic that follows. In the way they spiral, withdraw, or lash out, turning one awkward moment into lasting damage. But what if you could handle it with calm, with confidence? What if this very moment of weakness was actually your chance to show strength? In this video, you're going to learn how a Stoic man, a high-value man, responds when his body doesn't cooperate. Not with shame, not with fear, but with clarity, control, and care. Sound fair enough? Number 1. What she really thinks, and it's not about you. Most men believe that when they can't perform in bed, the woman instantly judges them, labels them as weak, unattractive, or even inadequate. And it makes sense. Our minds are wired to assume the worst in moments of vulnerability. But here's the surprising truth. That isn't what usually happens at all. In reality, the moment you struggle to get hard, most women don't look at you with criticism, they look at themselves with doubt. Yes, 9 times out of 10, her first instinct is to wonder what she did wrong. She might think, am I not attractive enough? Did I turn him off? Is it my body, my smell, my stretch marks? Did he just lose interest in me? Even the most confident women are often filled with quiet insecurities. And in moments like this, those thoughts explode. Now, from your side of the bed, you're stuck in your own loop of panic and shame. But what you don't see is that she's doing the exact same thing. Blaming herself, feeling embarrassed, wondering if she just ruined everything. And the worst part, she probably won't say any of this out loud. She may act normal. She may even try to comfort you, but deep down she's questioning her worth. That's the emotional minefield you're both lying in. This is where Stoic thinking becomes powerful. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always own the option of having new opinion." You don't have to assume she's judging you. You don't have to spiral into shame because in truth, she's far too busy wondering if she failed you, and that changes everything. Once you realize she's more self-conscious than critical, your panic softens, you stop fighting shadows. You begin to see clearly. And in that clarity, you can lead. You can comfort. And most importantly, you can rise, not physically, but emotionally. And that is where real masculinity begins. Number 2, the wrong reaction where most men fail. Now, here's where things usually go downhill. Not because of the performance issue itself, but because of how most men react to it. You see, the moment you can't get it up, your ego starts screaming. You feel like you've let her down. You assume she's judging you, maybe even planning never to see you again. And that fear, it pushes you into dangerous territory. Some men just go silent. They pull away emotionally, physically, and leave the woman lying there in complete confusion. No explanation, no comfort, just distance. That silence doesn't feel neutral to her. It feels like rejection. Other men get defensive. They snap. It's not a big deal. Stop asking questions. Or worse, they lash out like she's somehow the problem for noticing. That's not strength. That's panic disguised as masculinity. And then there's the most damaging reaction of all, internal collapse. You start believing that this one moment defines you, that you're no longer enough. And that belief becomes a virus. It spreads into your confidence, your identity, your ability to show up fully in future relationships. Let's be real, your body didn't betray you, your reaction did. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." That couldn't be true here. The suffering doesn't come from what happened. It comes from the storm you build around it. The story you tell yourself about what it means. And when you react with shame, anger, or silence, you leave her alone in her confusion and her self-doubt. That's what she remembers. Not the softness of your body, but the coldness of your presence. So, if you want to avoid turning one awkward night into lasting damage, you have to do one thing. Stay present. Not perfect, not impressive, just present. That alone changes everything. Number 3, the Stoic response. Strength and stillness. When things go wrong in bed, most men panic. But a Stoic man, he pauses, he breathes, and then he responds, not with shame, but with quiet control. Because what you do next will echo far louder than what just happened. You see, you don't need to explain yourself like you're guilty of something. You're not. And you don't need to apologize like you just committed a crime. You didn't. What you need is to lead the moment with calm, with clarity, with care. It's as simple as this. You sit up, look her in the eye, maybe even smile gently, and say something like, "Hey, I think tonight's just not my night, but it has nothing to do with you. In fact, you look insanely good right now. Let's just make this about you for a change. I want you to feel amazing." That's it. No dramatic speech, no panic, just presence. And here's why it works. When you acknowledge the situation directly, you remove the uncertainty. When you make it clear that it's not her fault, you protect her confidence. And when you focus on her pleasure, you show that your masculinity isn't tied to a single body part. It's in your energy, your attention, your ability to care. That's what women remember, and your tone matters. If you say it like you're embarrassed, she'll feel embarrassed, but if you say it like it's just part of the moment, like it's no big deal, she'll relax. She'll mirror your vibe. That's what high-value men do. They don't over-explain. They don't disappear, they don't crumble. They own the room even in silence. Even when their body doesn't follow the plan. That's real power. Number 4, you don't need to be hard to be memorable. Here's something most men never realize. The most unforgettable sexual experiences women talk about, they're not always about penetration. They're about how they felt, desired, adored, devoured. And none of that requires an erection. So what if your body isn't cooperating? That doesn't mean the night is over. It just means the plan changes. Not the connection, not the passion, just the form it takes. Because you still have your hands, your lips, your breath, your voice. You still have you. In fact, when you turn the attention fully to her, when you decide without hesitation to make her the center of your world in that moment, she won't be disappointed. She'll be overwhelmed in the best way possible. And let's not forget when a man is unfazed by his own body and still confidently gives her intense pleasure. That's rare. That's alpha. That's the kind of man she tells her friends about. He didn't even need to, you know. But God, it was amazing. Women don't crave perfection. They crave presence. They crave attention. They crave the feeling that they're wanted and were ripped. And when you give her that, even without full physical performance, you become unforgettable. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is exactly that. You can either see this as failure or as an invitation to connect deeper, slower, more sensually in ways she'd expect, but will always remember. And you know what? When you take the pressure off yourself, when you stop obsessing about getting it up and just focus on her, something interesting happens. Your mind relaxes. Your body follows, and without even noticing, you're back in the game. But at that point, you've already won. Number 5, when you handle it right, she'll admire you more. Here's the part no one tells you. When you handle this situation the right way, you don't just avoid damage, you create desire. Real lasting desire, because, think about it, most men panic. Most men disappear emotionally or try to force things or let the moment define them. But you stayed calm. You took control of an uncomfortable moment without needing to control her. That alone makes you stand out. Imagine how that feels to a woman. To be with a man who isn't shaken by a little physical setback. A man who doesn't fold, doesn't flinch, and doesn't run. A man who stays and sees her and chooses to make her feel incredible even when things don't go to plan. That kind of confidence is rare. That kind of care is powerful. And that kind of man, that's the one she remembers. Because the truth is, women are deeply intuitive. They know when something is real. When a man makes love to her, not just with his body, but with his presence, his energy, his patience, that leaves an imprint. And here's the twist. Sometimes the night she didn't get penetrated is the night she felt most connected to you. Because you didn't just perform, you responded with maturity, with masculinity, with mastery. That's the stuff legends are made of. Not because you were perfect, but because you were present. So don't be surprised if she texts you the next day still thinking about the way you touched her, the way you looked at her, the way you didn't panic, didn't push, didn't disappear. You simply led like a man. And in that moment, without even trying, you became unforgettable. So let's end with the truth most men need to hear. Not being able to get hard in the moment doesn't make you less of a man. It's not weakness. It's not failure. It's biology. But the way you react to it, that's where your strength or your shame shows up. You don't need to perform like a machine. You don't need to impress like a porn star. You need to stay composed. Stay grounded and stay connected, because that's what a high-value man does. He doesn't run. He doesn't spiral. He doesn't shrink. He breathes. He leads. He adapts. And he understands this. No moment, no matter how awkward or unexpected, has the power to define you unless you hand it that power. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This applies here perfectly. You are not your erection. You are your presence, your awareness, your emotional steadiness in moments most men fall apart. So next time your body doesn't rise, let your character rise instead. Let your confidence take the lead. Let your care make the difference. Because the truth is, she'll remember the man who made her feel safe when things got awkward. The man who made her feel beautiful when he could have blamed her. The man who still made her moan even without penetration. And that's the kind of man you were born to be. Own it.